Part 53. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 521. Our world will soon face a great crisis. If we humans cannot unite, it may be difficult to get through this. Looking at He Zihao, Wang Feng said solemnly. What crisis? He Zihao was shocked. You know the Devourer? Those who can. Wang Feng thought about it and decided to tell He Zihao about the Devourer. What is coming will come, and it is useless to hide it. After listening to Wang Feng's words from beginning to end, He Zihao couldn't help but feel cold in his heart. From Wang Feng's expression, he knew that what Wang Feng said was mostly true. I understand. We will definitely consider your suggestion seriously. He Zihao looked at Wang Feng and said thoughtfully, there are still many ordinary survivors on our side. If we can't take care of them, you can go to Hope Base to find Duan Lei. I'm going to go to the sea soon. Go to Bizhu and Dongzhou, and tell the people there about this news. Wang Feng did not make a direct promise to He Zihao, but directly threw the question to Duan Lei. I understand. I will go back and tell the people in the camp that we should at least move to Cat City. As for what to do next, we will talk about it later. He Zihao sighed. Wang Feng nodded. At this time, Tian Kai had already synthesized the awakening potion, so Wang Feng ran from the head of the team to the end of the team again and distributed all the awakening potions. After getting the potion, He Zihao and his team did not delay and said goodbye to Wang Feng and left. More than 400 vehicles started together and left here in a mighty manner. It looked spectacular. After He Zihao and his team left, Wang Feng waited for another day and a half in the original place. Xiao Wu and his team came back here and learned that they had told Duan Lei the news. Wang Feng was relieved. However, Apollo was very interested in the elephant that had become Wang Feng's mount. He kept circling around the elephant. After a while, he was actually rolled onto his back by the elephant's trunk, and ran around in Apollo's excitement. Wang Feng, who was telling Qiu Jian and Taishi what happened after they left, was surprised to see this scene. After Taishi's explanation, he realized that Apollo had worked as an animal keeper for a period of time before the end of the world, and he raised elephants. Seeing Apollo who could command elephants to walk around, Wang Feng couldn't help but feel moved. He was originally troubled by the elephant, and now it seems that the problem has been solved because of Apollo's appearance. After thinking for a while, Wang Feng asked Apollo and Taishi to leave his group and immediately rode the elephant back to the Hope Base. He communicated with the elephant through Apocalypse and knew that the elephant was willing to follow Apollo, so he came up with this idea. Wang Feng originally thought that when he met people from other camps outside, he could use the power of Taishi's to understand them and see if it was worth it for him to provide them with awakening potions, but now Wang Feng has figured it out. Who cares? As long as they are human, he can improve their strength. The relationship between humans and devourers is destined to be enemies. At that time, even for their own survival, they must do their best. Moreover, in comparison, Hope Base needs Taishi's more. After all, that is their home. Once there are humans with bad intentions outside, they enter Hope Base. With the presence of Taishi's, perhaps those who harbor evil intentions can be seen earlier. In any case, Hope Base must not be lost now. Especially now that Apollo can control the elephant, this elephant has now reached the level of a 7th level creature, which can be said to be an important combat force. In addition, if you encounter a group of mutant beasts in the future, maybe this elephant can also play other roles. After making the decision, Apollo and Thesis set out on the journey back to the Hope Base. Fortunately, the elephant's back was wide enough, so even if the couple suddenly wanted to have some in-depth communication on the elephant's back, it would not be a problem. Wang Feng, number 7, and Qiu Jian stayed where they were, because Xiao Wu and Qingxun were absorbing those high-level zombies. After the elephant stood up, the body of another corpse general that Wang Feng had not seen before also appeared. he was actually smashed under the elephant and was already dead. As for the bodies of these two corpse generals and other high-level zombies, Wang Feng asks Xiao Wu and others to distribute them by themselves and try to transfer them to the hurricane. If they couldn't fit in, Wang Feng would simply put them into his own apocalypse space. However, even if these zombies were taken out, there would be no life energy left, because until now, the space energy left by the wreckage of the spacecraft has not been completely absorbed, which has exceeded Wang Feng's expectations. However, Wang Feng has no other way. Now time is pressing, and he can't wait here for Xiao Wu and others to absorb the bodies of these high-level zombies. Moreover, high-level zombies are not only here. Now is the end of the world, and the most lacking thing is zombies. Therefore, after filling the hurricane's carriage, Wang Feng collected the remaining high-level zombies into his own apocalypse space. As for the low-level zombies, the life energy in their bodies had long been taken by Wang Feng and turned into apocalypse points. After doing all this, Wang Feng led his special operations team and set off on the journey to Hulun Island again. When they arrived at Hulun Island, it was more than 10 days later. Hulun Island is a peninsula, surrounded by the sea on 3 sides and connected to the mainland on one side. It is the closest port city to the North Continent. However, at this time, Hulun Island is already the world of zombies, and the island is full of dense zombies. Here, Wang Feng and his team even found many marine mutant beasts. They often rushed ashore in groups to attack zombies, but the number of zombies was too large, and under the attraction of the life ball, new zombies were constantly replenished. Seeing this situation, Wang Feng did not hesitate and waved his hand directly. Qiu Jian, Xiao Wu, Qian Xuan, Qian Qian, and number 7 immediately rushed to the zombie group. During the time on the way to Hulun Island, Wang Feng and his special operations team had greatly improved their strength. The first one is Wang Feng. 10 days ago, the space energy in Tiankai was finally absorbed by Tiankai. As expected by Tiankai, Wang Feng directly entered the ranks of level 6 creatures. Moreover, perhaps due to the previous energy accumulation, Wang Feng actually reached the late stage of level 6 this time, and the distance to level 7 is not so far. Xiao, Qian Qian, Qian Xuan, and others have all reached the peak of level 6 creatures and may break through to level 7 at any time, because along the way, they have cleared many zombie gathering points, and each time they have carried out decapitation operations without too much entanglement, killing countless zombies and zombies. So the speed of these 3 zombie physique guys is quite fast, which is no different from riding a rocket. If the highest zombies they encountered were not zombies, maybe the 3 of them could have rushed to level 7 now. As for Qiu Jian, his strength has also improved greatly, and he has also reached the middle stage of the 6th level creature. In fact, Qiu Jian should improve faster than Xiao Wu and the others, because Xiao Wu and the others are zombies, so only by devouring zombies of the same level can their strength be greatly improved. But Qiu Jian is different. He originally has the attribute of destruction. After merging with the life core, he actually has a devouring ability similar to Apocalypse or Devourer. And his devouring is even more perverted than that of number 7 and Wang Feng. Even if it is a plant, he can strengthen his body by devouring its life energy. It may be because of the mysterious seal in the body, so Qiu Jian, like Wang Feng, improves very slowly in strength, which makes them more urgent to find the expert and find a way to unlock the seal in their bodies. As for Zhang Ruhao, he is not a combat type awakener, so there is no improvement. He has replaced Apollo and Thesis and has become a full-time driver of Hurricane. It didn't take them much time to kill the zombies on Hulun Island. After less than 2 days of cleaning, the zombies on Hulun Island were completely cleaned up. Even the marine mutants that occasionally washed ashore were all killed by them, and they went without return. And the life ball on the island was also collected by Wang Feng. He was going to go out to sea from here, but he didn't want this place to become a gathering place for zombies again. After carefully searching every inch of land on the island, Wang Feng sighed. Due to the constant impact of marine mutants, there was not even a complete ship on the entire Hulun Island. Even several ocean-going ships at the port had been shattered by the impact of those marine mutants and could not be used. Wang Feng's original plan to get a boat to go to sea was shattered, and due to time constraints, they did not plan to find another port. Wang Feng made up his mind and simply drove the Hurricane out to sea. Hurricane is amphibious, but Wang Feng thought that it would be more comfortable and safer if he could get a big ship. Now it seems that he can only use Hurricane. Naturally, no one opposed Wang Feng's decision, so the group found some materials, processed Hurricane, and finally sailed into the sea to start a long voyage towards Bizhu continent. Looking back at the gradually blurred land, and then looking at the vast sea in front, Wang Feng, who was standing on the roof of Hurricane, suddenly felt broad-minded. While breathing the salty air, he shouted with high spirits, "Bizhu continent! Here I come! Wait for me! Wang Feng! I've been waiting for you for a long time. Do you still want to go to Bizhu continent? This is your burial place. Today. It's your death day." As soon as Wang Feng finished speaking, a crazy voice full of hatred and resentment sounded. A large group of marine mutant beasts suddenly appeared around the Hurricane, surrounding Wang Feng and his companions. On the back of one of the giant whales stood a woman with disheveled hair and whose face could not be seen at all. She was naked, except for some unknown seaweed wrapped around key parts of her body. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 522. The faces of everyone on the Hurricane changed drastically. They did not expect that they would be attacked just half a day after leaving the mainland. Moreover, it seemed to be premeditated. This was simply incredible. But Wang Feng was looking at the woman at this time. Even though the woman looked ferocious and her image at this time was very different from before, he still recognized that this woman was his first lover after the end of the world, Fang Jiao. Looking at Fang Jiao's appearance at this time, Wang Feng sighed inwardly. Her long hair was draped randomly from her head, covering most of her face. Her eyes were full of resentment. Only her lower body was surrounded by a circle of water plants. The skin that was originally fair and tender has become pale and swollen due to being in the sea water for a long time. Thinking of the innocent and lovely girl back then, and comparing her appearance now, Wang Feng felt sad. Although Fang Jiao was with him before, it was not because she loved him, but because she wanted to rely on him to survive in this apocalypse. Go down. But women in the apocalypse basically survive like this. For the sake of life, no one can say that they have done something wrong. After all, women are not as strong as men in physical strength. In the apocalypse, they are an absolutely vulnerable group. Therefore, Wang Feng didn't have any resentment towards Fang Jiao in his heart, especially when he saw her like this. It is a woman's nature to love beauty, and Fang Jiao became like this because of the hatred in her heart. To myself, to Lu Feng, to Duan Lei, and even to everyone. People whose minds are blinded by hatred are simply unreasonable. Therefore, Wang Feng did not try to persuade Fang Jiao. He was just thinking, what should he do? Under Tiankai's perception, Wang Feng learned that Fang Jiao had now reached the level of a 5th level creature, and was still in the middle of a 5th level creature. Moreover, the whale under her turned out to be a 6th level creature. Super creature. Mutated beasts in the ocean basically develop towards large creatures. This is because the environment in the sea is different from that on land. Sea water has buoyancy, so there is no concern about marine mutant beasts no matter how large they are. And this is why marine creatures are difficult to deal with. Because of their huge size, it is difficult for Wang Feng and the others to cause fatal harm to them, just like the whale at Fang Jiao's feet. Whales are originally the largest mammals, and the body of this whale is 4 to 5 times larger than a normal whale. One of its eyes alone is already bigger than a hurricane. Wang Feng estimated that even the six-barreled machine gun might not be able to cause any serious damage to the whale. As for his apocalypse, let alone it could not even penetrate the whale's skin. The thickness is definitely several times greater than the length of Tiankai. Ha 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 ha, seeing the expressions of everyone on the hurricane, Fang Jiaojiao suddenly laughed crazily. What? Are you scared? Aren't you all heroes? Ah. I'm a weak woman, you can play whatever you want. Just throw it away when you are in danger. Why are you starting to get scared now? It's okay to be afraid. Kneel down and kowtow to my aunt and swear to be my slave. Maybe when I'm happy, I'll spare you. Huh. Ha 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 ha. Wang Feng shook his head slightly, and then took out a compressed oxygen tank from the apocalypse space and threw it to Qiu Jian. Then he closed the top cover of the hurricane and locked it. In this way, the hurricane's carriage became closed. While closing the top cover, Wang Feng also shouted to Zhang Ruhao in the car, "Please pay attention to your own safety and don't worry about us. Come to us after the battle is over." Now, except for Zhang Ruhao, everyone else was on the roof of the car. Although everyone had basically never experienced a battle in the sea, they were not too nervous. Especially Xiao Wu, Qin Xuan, and his wife, and number 7. These 4 guys don't even need compressed oxygen, because the zombie body doesn't need to breathe at all. As for number 7, he can even change his body and become a zombie. A fish. Seeing Wang Feng's reaction, Fang Jiaojiao laughed again. Ha 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 ha. What? Still want to resist? Last time on land, I failed to kill you. Now you are in the sea, do you still want a miracle to happen? Humph. I knew it long after you arrived here. I held back until now just to prevent you from escaping back to the land. Let me tell you the truth, have you seen these mutant beasts? They are all killed by I control them. Even if you can kill them all, I can control a group of them again right away. I am the god of the sea now. If you are my enemy, you will be the enemy of all the mutant beasts in the sea. Are you confident that you can kill all the creatures in the sea? Ha 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 ha. Okay Jiao Xiao. You don't need to say anything. Wang Feng shook his head and said, no matter what I do, you will definitely kill me, right? So, come directly, no need to waste time, we still have to. I'm going to Bizhu continent, I don't have time to play with you here. Humph. I originally wanted to see you kneeling down and begging for mercy, and then I deliberately said that I would let you go. After catching you, I would torture you before killing you. I didn't expect you to be quite smart, but it doesn't matter. Do you think you can escape this way? Fang Jiaojiao looked at Wang Feng hatefully and said, just wait, when I catch you later, I'll see if you can still remain as calm as you are now. After I kill you, I will take my darlings, go to your hope base and kill everyone there, Lu Feng and Duan Lei, don't let any of them escape. Fang Jiaojiao has been wandering in the sea since she was defeated by Wang Feng in Jianguan town. Because her power is to control sea beasts, the sea is basically not dangerous to her, even if her level is much higher than hers. Sea beasts she cannot control will not actively attack her. Therefore, during this period of time, Fang Jiaojiao's strength has improved rapidly, because there are many more creatures in the sea than on land. No matter in terms of species or quantity, they are far ahead of the creatures on land. Incomparable. But Fang Jiaojiao is a human being after all. Her body structure cannot adapt to life in the sea. However, she dare not go ashore because of the dangers on land, so she becomes like a human being and a ghost. Now Fang Jiaojiao's heart has been severely distorted. She can no longer be satisfied and happily kills Wang Feng and the others. She will torture them in every possible way and make them experience countless pain before killing them. Moreover, this is far from the end. She also wants to take revenge on Duan Lei, Lu Feng, and all the people who she thinks caused her to become what she is now, and even all human beings. Wang Feng and the others are just this is just the beginning of her revenge. Xiao Cheng. Xiao Zi. Come on, Fang Jiao shouted. As she shouted, two great white sharks broke away from the mutant beasts surrounding Wang Feng and the others and charged towards Wang Feng and the others. Come over. It seems that Fang Jiao is right. She doesn't want to kill Wang Feng and the others at once. Otherwise, if the huge whale under her feet is slapped down with its huge tail, Wang Feng and the others will be in big trouble. Seeing two great white sharks rushing towards them, Xiao Wu and Qiu Jian rushed forward without Wang Feng saying a word. They took a run up on the hurricane, and then pounced directly on the two great white sharks. Qiu Jian held a long sword in his hand and stabbed the great white shark directly. As for Xiao Wu, he opened his hands and 10 sharp nails half a foot long popped out from his fingers. Then, he grabbed great white shark. The size of these two great white sharks was much smaller than that of the whale, but to Qiu Jian and Xiao Wu, they were still two behemoths. The two great white sharks opened their huge mouths and faced the two of them. Bite down. Seeing the teeth in the great white shark's mouth that were as long as their heights, Xiao Wu and Qiu Jian didn't have any fear, and they still rushed towards the great white shark without hesitation. At the moment of contact with the great white shark, Xiao Wu and Qiu Jian made different actions. Qiu Jian directly thrust out the long sword and pierced the snout of the great white shark. However, he did not activate the destruction and devouring powers. Instead, with the help of the power of the long sword in his hand, he turned over directly in the air and landed on the ground. On the back of the great white shark, the long sword then stabbed out again, stabbing the dorsal fin of the great white shark, and then grabbed the wound made by himself with his left hand to fix his body. The long sword in his right hand stabbed the great white shark directly into the head. To the great white shark, Qiu Jian's sword was actually smaller than a toothpick, so it was impossible to cause much damage to it, and what Qiu Jian stabbed was not the great white shark's eye, so the great white shark didn't care. The great white shark ignored Qiu Jian's sword and twisted his body desperately, trying to throw Qiu Jian off. However, after the sword pierced the head of the great white shark, the great white shark seemed to suddenly as if suffering great pain, his body began to shake violently, and he plunged directly into the water, as if he wanted to rely on the sea water to drown Qiu Jian. Qiu Jian, who was carrying a compressed oxygen tank, didn't care about its actions at all. Instead, he thrust down harder with the long sword in his hand. Although Qiu Jian's long sword was too powerful for the great white shark. Xiao Tai is short, long sword, Lao Huan is talking about long sword, just draw a circle if you want, but Qiu Jian's superpower attribute is destruction. With the activation of Qiu Jian's superpower, the long sword in his hand actually drilled a hole directly into the head of the great white shark. The flesh and blood around the long sword disappeared out of thin air. This was Qiu Jian, the result of activating the destruction ability. And Qiu Jian's body also followed this hole and penetrated into the head of the great white shark. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 523. As Qiu Jian's entire body sank into the great white shark's head, the great white shark became even more crazy. Not only did it run around, it even began to attack the mutant beasts around it. Obviously, the huge pain it suffered had made it fall into confusion. Xiao Wu, on the other hand, was more straightforward. Regarding the bite of the great white shark, Xiao Wu took the initiative to meet it, reached out to grab the teeth of the great white shark, and took the initiative to get into the belly of the great white shark. After entering, Xiao Wu's claws began to wreak havoc inside the great white shark's body. The great white shark, which suffered heavy injuries in an instant, never imagined that what he swallowed was not delicious food, but a life-threatening shura. The two great white sharks that rushed up as the vanguard fell into a frenzy almost at the same time, rolling continuously in the sea water. No matter who stood in front of them, they would bite with open mouths, even Fang Jiao. The huge whale at Jiao's feet was attacked by two great white sharks. Although these two great white sharks were not the most powerful among the mutated beasts surrounding Wang Feng and the others, they were only second only to the whale and another hill-like octopus. Because of their crazy biting, the surrounding mutant beasts suddenly became chaotic. Many mutant beasts were injured. Even the octopus had one of its tentacles bitten off by a great white shark and was seriously injured. The attacking octopus instinctively sprayed out a thick black mist, dyeing the water in the nearby sea pitch black. At this time, the scene suddenly became more chaotic. The other mutant beasts that were attacked also began to attack each other. Because the water was pitch black, they could not see their surroundings clearly. In order to protect themselves, they would attack anyone close to them. Creatures, they will attack without hesitation. Seeing this situation, Wang Feng immediately jumped off the hurricane and shouted, "Up!" Number 7 and Kinksun couple also jumped into the sea. Immediately afterwards, the water inlet of the hurricane's rear cabin opened, and a large amount of seawater poured in. After a few seconds, the hurricane slowly sank toward the depths of the sea. After entering the sea, Wang Feng dived directly towards the octopus in the water. Due to the heavy damage, the octopus was constantly waving its remaining 7 tentacles to kill all mutant beasts that were approaching it. All are blocked from its body. After carefully passing through the gap between the tentacles, Wang Feng came to the huge body of the octopus. In fact, usually after the octopus spits out ink, it will take the opportunity to escape from the range of the black mist, but now because she was controlled by Fang Jiao, so she couldn't leave. However, it was not immune to the black mist it sprayed. In addition, Wang Feng's target in front of it was too small, so the octopus did not notice Wang Feng's approach at all. Due to the existence of the sky eye, the black mist had no effect on Wang Feng. He went directly to the top of Octopus's rear and body, and then summoned Apocalypse. With gentle pressure from his right hand, Apocalypse sank into the octopus's skin silently. However, for this huge octopus, Apocalypse's bite was almost equivalent to an adult being bitten by a mosquito. In addition, it was suffering from the pain of losing one of its tentacles, so it still did not feel Wang Feng's presence. Wang Feng dragged Tiankai back and cut a long opening in the octopus's skin. Then he pulled out Tiankai and continued to cut down along the opening. At the same time, Wang Feng's other hand, he took out an oxygen cylinder, bit it in his mouth, and then got into the opened hole. Now Wang Feng begins to envy Qiu Jian's destructive attributes. If he also has it, then he doesn't have to work so hard. This octopus is too big. If he wants to kill it, Wang Feng can only learn the methods of Qiu Jian and Xiao Wu. Find a way to enter its body, and then it is possible to cause fatal harm to it. Since the octopus is a mollusk, its body is not very tough even after mutation. Under Apocalypse's constant cutting back and forth, the octopus's 2 to 3 meter thick skin was finally cut through by Wang Feng, and without any delay, he went straight in. At this time, the octopus felt its own crisis, but there was no way the octopus could stop the attack from inside the body, not even its tentacles could do this. After Wang Feng entered the octopus's body, he directly used Tiankai to open the way and headed towards the place where the life fluctuations in the octopus body are the most intense. There is no doubt that that is where the octopus's fatality lies. Octopus, who felt that his end was approaching, no longer had any scruples. Even if Fang Jiao tried his best to suppress it mentally, he could not calm it down at all. The sea water around the octopus suddenly began to boil, and its 7 tentacles were waving around one after another. Any mutant beast it touched was directly sucked by the suction cups on its tentacles, and then strangled with force. Because now, Wang Feng has reached its brain center and started the process of killing it. Of course, the dying octopus will not have any worries. The octopus's death struggle lasted for a full 5 minutes. After that, it gradually calmed down and began to sink, because it had lost its consciousness and completely fell into death. After the octopus's body sank 2 or 3 meters, the huge octopus suddenly disappeared, and Wang Feng reappeared in the still dark sea water. After the octopus died, Wang Feng could already put its body directly into the apocalypse space. Through the black fog, Wang Feng looked around him. The 2 great white sharks that launched the attack first were dead at this time. Their bodies were floating in the sea with their bellies facing up, while Xiao Wu and Xiu Jian had already drilled out of their bodies and began to attack other mutant beasts. Wang Feng did not stay for too long, and directly locked his eyes on the huge whale, and his body approached the whale again. Fang Jiaojiao looked at the scene in front of her, with an extremely ferocious expression on her face. She originally thought that these marine mutant beasts she brought could easily get rid of Wang Feng and his men, but she did not expect that after the war, she suffered a series of defeats. Not only did the first 2 great white sharks not cause any loss of manpower for Wang Feng and his team, but because of the madness of the 2 great white sharks, many mutant beasts on their side were injured. Especially the octopus. In the last 5 minutes of its dying struggle, at least 3 mutant beasts were strangled by it, and it itself was also killed by Wang Feng, and even its body became Wang Feng's trophy. This situation would certainly make the overconfident Fang Jiaojiao furious, but now the visibility in the sea area has become very low due to the octopus, and Fang Jiaojiao has no way to find the traces of Wang Feng and others in this dark sea. So, Fang Jiaojiao issued an order in her mind, and the remaining mutant beasts began to retreat to the rear under the leadership of the whale, intending to leave this Black Sea area. Wang Feng, who was about to rush towards the whale, suddenly stopped when he saw this situation, and then he turned directly to the mutant beasts that had died in the sea water and collected all their bodies into the apocalypse space. Xiao Wu and his companions also floated to the surface and gathered together. Wang Feng looked at them and did not join them, but turned around and swam in the direction of Fang Jiaojiao. Now Fang Jiaojiao still had 8 mutant beasts, but including the whale, they were all injured, and most of these scars were caused by other mutant beasts. In the battle just now, Xiao Wu and Xiu Jian each killed a great white shark, Wang Feng killed an octopus, Qin Xuan and his wife killed a sea eel together, and 5 other mutant beasts died in the mouths of their own kind. By now, most of the dozen mutant beasts brought by Fang Jiaojiao have been lost, but looking at Fang Jiaojiao's expression, it seems that she doesn't care much about her losses. Originally, the important mutant beasts she brought were only whales and octopuses, and the others were just controlled by Fang Jiaojiao at will, and she could have as many as she wanted. And after the battle just now, Fang Jiaojiao also learned a lesson. At least, in the future, Fang Jiaojiao should not control creatures like octopuses again. She controlled this kind of creature in Jianguan town, but was killed by Wang Feng. Now, this octopus has problems again. Not only did it not help her, but it also messed up the sea area and killed 3 mutant beasts she brought. Fang Jiaojiao now understands that the most suitable thing for creatures like octopuses is to wash them clean, brush them with hot sauce, and put them on the iron plate to grill. Basically, there is no other use. After leaving the polluted sea area, Fang Jiaojiao gathered her mutant beasts, rearranged the formation, and waited for Wang Feng. She was not afraid of Wang Feng escaping. Now they were in the sea, and she could know which direction Wang Feng ran from. The mutant beasts she controlled were not just the ones around, but also some small ones, which were used by Fang Jiaojiao as scouts. It was these scouts who knew about the arrival of Wang Feng and his men. And since these scouts don't need to be very strong, Fang Jiaojiao can control a lot of them at once. Wang Feng also understood this in his heart, so he didn't plan to escape, but swam towards the whale. He has now decided that as long as he can get a chance, he must kill Fang Jiaojiao, because if Fang Jiaojiao doesn't die, she will always entangle them. Killing more marine mutant beasts is useless. The most thorough solution is to kill the person who controls them. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 524. Although Fang Jiaojiao had a relationship with Wang Feng before, that was over after all. Besides, in Wukan, Wang Feng had let Fang Jiaojiao off once. In Jianguan town, it was the second time. Now, it is the third time. 3 times. Again and again, not again and again, Wang Feng calmed down his mind. When he looked at Fang Jiaojiao again, his eyes had returned to calmness. Humph. Didn't you run away? It seems that you are still a little self-aware and know that you can't run away, Fang Jiaojiao snorted coldly as she looked at Wang Feng who came in front of her. Wang Feng did not speak. He knew that no matter what he said, there was nothing he could do to make Fang Jiaojiao change her mind. They were destined to become sworn enemies. Xiao Wu and the others, after receiving Wang Feng's signal, did not step forward. Instead, they climbed onto the hurricane rising from the bottom of the sea, sat on it, and looked over. Humph. Don't speak. Are you pretending to be cold in front of me? Fang Jiaojiao looked at Wang Feng and said disdainfully, when you were lying on my body, you weren't so silent, were you? I'll let you pretend, and he will kneel in front of me and lick my toes. Up, as Fang Jiaojiao shouted angrily, all the mutated beasts except the whale rushed towards Wang Feng, but Wang Feng only showed a sneer and didn't care. Although he is in the sea now and cannot use his full strength during the battle, these mutant beasts are only 3rd and 4th level ones, and they are nothing to the current Wang Feng. Although Fang Jiaojiao can control mutant beasts, the number and strength should be limited. Among the mutant beasts she brought this time, the whale is the most powerful, followed by the octopus, and then the 2 great white sharks. As for the others, they should all be used to make up the numbers. Now after the first round of fighting, only the whale, octopus, and great white shark are left among the high-level mutant beasts, and they have all died in the hands of Wang Feng and Xiao Wu Kaijian. However, although the combat power of Wang Feng and those with him far exceeded Fang Jiaojiao's expectations, Fang Jiaojiao still had no worries because she was very aware of the strength of the whale under her feet. Recalling that it took a lot of effort for her to subdue this whale, she almost destroyed all the mutated beasts that she originally controlled, and finally managed to capture this whale with great difficulty. It was precisely because of this whale that Fang Jiaojiao's remaining mental power was not enough to control too many high-level mutant beasts, so she had to settle for the next best thing and recruit a large group of low-level mutant beasts to fill the scene. Now seeing Wang Feng's combat power, Fang Jiaojiao understood that she might not be able to take down Wang Feng if she had to rely on other mutant beasts, but she didn't want the other mutant beasts to go to waste, so she simply let them go first, even if it was a waste. Some Wang Feng's physical strength is also good. Wang Feng quickly started fighting these mutant beasts. He still did not let Xiao Wu and the others come over. The whale in front of him put a lot of pressure on him. If Xiao Wu and the others were allowed to come over, the whale would probably let there be attrition among them. Although this whale is only a 6th level creature, it has already reached the pinnacle of level 6 and may enter the ranks of 7th level creatures at any time. Moreover, due to its huge size, this guy's actual combat power is comparable to level 7 creatures or even better. Wang Feng did not waste much time by killing all the 7 marine mutant beasts that besieged him. In fact, if Wang Feng had hidden his ice power for the whale, he would have solved the battle faster. Quick! This is the sea, which is a suitable environment for activating ice powers. However, Wang Feng left the ice powers to the whale, so far, he has not activated any powers. After killing the 7 mutant beasts one by one and putting away all their bodies, Wang Feng faced Fang Jiaojiao again, but he still did not make a sound, just waiting for Fang Jiaojiao to launch the final attack. Ha 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 ha, after staring at Wang Feng for a while, Fang Jiaojiao suddenly laughed crazily. While laughing, She pointed at Wang Feng and said, "Are you feeling quite proud now? Do you think I'm not there anymore? What will happen to you? Your strength does surprise me, but don't think that you will win if only one of my mutant beasts dies. Let me tell you, this whale is my real trump card. Now, you can go to hell." As Fang Jiaojiao finished speaking, the whale suddenly opened its huge mouth without warning, and a huge suction force suddenly came. Wang Feng had no strength to resist, and was directly sucked into the mouth of the giant whale. Qiu Jian and Xiao Wu in the distance were shocked, but they still did not rush over. With their previous experience, they knew that being eaten by a marine mutant beast was not necessarily a bad thing, and this huge if you want to kill a whale, you can only kill it from inside its body. The suction force also affected them. Zhang Ruhao, who was in the hurricane, quickly launched the hurricane force to compete with the suction force. Fortunately, they were a long way away from the whale, so the hurricane force barely kept the distance from the whale. Wang Feng, who entered the whale's mouth, was not surprised but happy. He was thinking about how to approach the whale, but he didn't expect Fang Jiaojiao to take the initiative to pull him in. But Wang Feng obviously underestimated Fang Jiaojiao. Although Fang Jiaojiao did not take Wang Feng and the others seriously before, and did not see how Wang Feng killed the octopus, Xiao Wu and Qiu Jian, she could clearly see how the two of them killed the two great white sharks. How could Wang Feng enter the whale's body so easily? After the whale sucked Wang Feng into its bloody mouth, it closed its mouth. Then, before Wang Feng could react, it suddenly sprayed hard, and a huge water column suddenly appeared above its head. Wang Feng it was also directly driven by the sea water around it and flew into the air from the nostrils on the head of the whale. After Wang Feng flew into the air, the whale below suddenly attacked him. The huge tail behind its body suddenly lifted up, and then slapped Wang Feng hard in the air. Wang Feng, who was in the air, had no ability to dodge and was directly hit by the fish's tail. Then, Wang Feng's body was smashed into the sea like a cannonball. The slap of the fish tail this time caused Wang Feng to suffer a lot. Most of the bones on his body were smashed. If it hadn't been for the moment when the fish tail slapped him, Wang Feng would have balled himself up. I'm afraid the injury is even more serious. Brother Feng, when Xiao Wu and others saw this situation, they immediately became anxious, especially Xiao Wu, who immediately jumped into the sea to help Wang Feng. "Don't go there," Qiu Jian immediately pulled Xiao Wu and said in a deep voice, "Your zombie body is not suitable for fighting this guy. If you were the one who was attacked just now, I'm afraid you will turn into meat paste. This one, the whale, is not on the same level as those mutant beasts just now, and even that octopus is not something we can compete with." Qiu Jian was right. The octopus just now was completely distracted by the ink it sprayed out. It did not notice Wang Feng and was approached by him, so it lost its life in a daze. If not, with its 7 long tentacles, it would not be easy for anyone to get close to it. The reason why one of the tentacles was bitten off by the great white shark was because the great white shark had previously interacted with it. It was a camp, and it was unprepared, so it was attacked by the great white shark that suddenly went crazy. And this whale is obviously stronger than the octopus, and now that it has withdrawn from the polluted sea area, it is no longer possible to rely on sneak attacks. Then what should we do? Are we just going to watch Brother Feng being killed by that crazy woman? Xiao Wu turned around and roared at Qiu Jian. The problem is that we can't get close to the whale now. Did you see the force of that blow just now? I estimate that even a hurricane would be flattened directly. No one among us can withstand such force. Qiu Jian frowned, looked at the whale and said. "Maybe I can," number 7 suddenly said, and then took a deep breath. Devourers don't need to breathe, but number 7 has obviously regarded himself as a human being, so there is also a human touch in every move. Get used to the action. You, Xiao Wu and Qiu Jian looked at number 7 together. Well, judging from the force just now, I should be able to withstand it, so if I go over, I should be able to help him. At least, I can distract the whale's attention. Number 7 looked at the whale and Fang Jiao and said. Okay. Then I'll go with you. You attract the whale's attention, and I'll save the madman, Qiu Jian said without hesitation. Wang Feng has not reappeared after being photographed into the sea. He does not know whether he is alive or dead. Qiu Jian plans to go to the sea to have a look. Ha 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 ha, seeing Wang Feng being thrown into the sea, Fang Jiao laughed loudly, with a little joy in her laughter. Aren't you awesome? Come up quickly. Let's do it again. Since there were other sea creatures acting as spies for Fang Jiao knew that Wang Feng was not dead. The reason why he did not appear for so long was because Wang Feng was seriously injured and was driven into a hole as deep as more than 200 meters in the sea water. Now, Wang Feng is approaching the sea hard and slowly, and it is his current state that makes Fang Jiao feel happy. She is not in a hurry to kill Wang Feng. She must torture him first, and wait until he, after being exhausted, capture him again, then go straight to the Hope base, and kill him personally in front of many of his subordinates. Only in this way can Fang Jiao feel that she has avenged herself. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 525. However, although Wang Feng's injuries were serious, they were definitely not as serious as Fang Jiao imagined. Although most of his bones were broken, and even one of his arm bones was smashed to pieces because it came into direct contact with the whale's tail. However, with the dual treatment of the life core and apocalypse, these injuries were not fatal to Wang Feng, and he had not completely lost his combat effectiveness. The reason why Wang Feng was floating up to the sea so slowly was because he wanted to delay time as much as possible to allow himself to recover a little more, and also to give himself some time to consider how to deal with this whale. After being hit just now, Wang Feng now clearly knew how powerful this whale was. It can be said that even number 7 could not withstand the attack just now, and it was likely that his consciousness core would be directly shattered. You know, even Wang Feng was hit by this, and half of his bones were broken. Wang Feng's body had been strengthened by the Kali tribe, the origin of life, and the core of life. Even he couldn't stand it. You can imagine how terrible this whale is. If they really treat this whale as an ordinary level 6 creature, it is estimated that they will be wiped out today. Now Wang Feng knows that he is really lucky to kill the octopus. If it weren't for the cover of the black fog, those tentacles would definitely cause him a lot of trouble, and it is not impossible to even trap him. At this time, number 7 and Qiu Jian had already entered the sea, but they all dived into the sea to rescue Wang Feng, and Fang Jiao did not stop their actions, because their every move underwater was under her surveillance, so Fang Jiao didn't care. When Qiu Jian and Xiao Wu approached, Wang Feng made a few gestures to them. Although Xiao Wu didn't understand, Qiu Jian did, so he pulled Xiao Wu and swam back to the sea. What did Brother Feng say? Xiao Wu asked hurriedly as soon as he came out of the water. He asked us to go back first, and he can deal with the whale, Qiu Jian said. Then will we really go back? Xiao Wu said angrily. Humph. If you want to go, go ahead. You have interfered with the madman's plan. Let me see how you face him, Qiu Jian snorted coldly, and then swam towards the hurricane on his own. Xiao Wu thought about it on the spot, and still followed Qiu Jian, because he also knew that if he went up, he would not be able to help Wang Feng at all, but might drag Wang Feng down. Returning to hurricane again, Wang Feng still did not show up on the sea surface. Xiao Wu could not help but worry again. Seeing his expression, Qiu Jian sighed lightly. Don't worry, although it seems that the madman is at a disadvantage, he has not used his full strength yet. This should be one of his tactics. Not using his full strength, Huaxing and Qingxun looked at Qiu Jian together. That's right. He still has the ice power that he hasn't used. Now he is in the sea, surrounded by water, which is the most suitable place for ice power to be activated. From the beginning of the battle, the madman has never activated any power, and his own recovery speed is much stronger than us. Qiu Jian looked at the whale and said, "Watch it. The madman's goal is to save mankind. Such a small whale can't stop him." Fang Jiaojiao also saw Qiu Jian and the others return to Hurricane, and she immediately became alert. According to her original idea, when Wang Feng floated up again, he should have no fighting power. She could easily catch him and torture him well. However, after seeing the scene just now, Fang Jiaojiao suddenly felt that perhaps Wang Feng's injury was not as serious as she imagined, so she also gave up the idea just now. This was definitely not a good thing for Wang Feng, but in the situation just now, he had to let Xiao Wu and Qiu Jian go back, otherwise, the two of them following him would only make Wang Feng more worried. 5 minutes later, Wang Feng finally floated to the surface, and at this time, Fang Jiaojiao finally confirmed that Wang Feng was deliberately showing weakness, because that distance, even if it was floating freely, would never take such a long time. Therefore, Wang Feng was definitely stalling for time. Seeing Wang Feng surfaced, Fang Jiaojiao suddenly laughed triumphantly, "Ha ha ha ha. Wang Feng. You are really smart, you want to show weakness, let me neglect, and then wait for an opportunity to kill me, right? What a pity. I have seen your thoughts, so you are destined to have no chance to turn the tables today. Today, you must die here." At this point, Fang Jiaojiao's eyes became extremely sharp. Originally, she was planning to capture Wang Feng and torture him, but now, she no longer planned to capture Wang Feng. The battle in Jianguan town made her feel a little afraid of Wang Feng. Wang Feng still didn't speak, but just looked at Fang Jiaojiao quietly. Although his injuries had recovered a little, it was not so easy to recover the broken bones. Seeing Wang Feng remain silent, Fang Jiaojiao suddenly commanded the whale under her feet to attack, because Wang Feng's calm eyes made her feel a little scared, so she planned to let the whale launch the same attack on Wang Feng again. Although, if it happened again, Wang Feng would most likely be beaten into a pulp by the whale's thundering blow. This ending was not what Fang Jiaojiao wanted, but now, Fang Jiaojiao could no longer care about so much. Although letting Wang Feng die happily was an advantage for Fang Jiaojiao did not dare to take risks easily now because she suspected that Wang Feng had some hidden cards. No matter what, kill Wang Feng first, maybe because he has a trump card. If you can't kill him with one shot, you can still torture him with yourself and make him regret giving up on you. Even if Wang Feng dies, I hope that there are still Lu Feng and Duan Lei in the base. Those two people are still the culprits that caused him to become like this. At worst, he will vent his hatred on them. It's all on you. The whale's big mouth opened again, and countless seawater was once again sucked into the whale's mouth by the huge suction force. Wang Feng's body was also thrown into the whale's mouth just like before. Xiao Wu and the others watched the scene in front of them nervously. Everyone knew that if this happened again, Wang Feng would definitely lose his fighting power completely even if he did not die. Although he did not get close to Wang Feng just now, his twisted arms had already shown that his injuries were serious. However, this time, when the whale closed its mouth, the huge water column just appeared in the nostrils above its head and then disappeared, as if the whale's nostrils were blocked by something. Seeing this, Xiao Wu and the others couldn't help but cheer. Although they didn't know the reason, they knew that it must be because Wang Feng did something in the whale's mouth to interrupt the whale's spray. In fact, what Wang Feng did in the whale's mouth was not complicated. He just activated his ice power directly when he was pushed by the current and rushed towards the whale's nostrils. Moreover, this time Wang Feng did not have any withholding, the ice energy all over his body surged out crazily, instantly freezing all the nostrils above him. The whale did not expect that Wang Feng had such a hand. He was caught off guard and swallowed the seawater in his mouth. Wang Feng also followed the seawater and entered the whale's stomach. Since Wang Feng activated his ice power with all his strength just now, which directly exhausted all his physical strength, he immediately used Apocalypse's instant recovery. At the same time, he used his intact arm to summon Apocalypse and inserted it into the whale beside him. Esophagus, holding his body in place. The whale felt that it was being attacked inside, so it opened its big mouth again, continuously sucked in seawater, and then sprayed out the seawater, trying to use seawater to rush Wang Feng out. Unexpectedly, Wang Feng used Apocalypse to fix himself, and also turn the blade sideways. The whale tried several times but could not get rid of Wang Feng. However, it did not dare to stop now because it knew that once it stopped and gave Wang Feng time to breathe, it might be in even greater trouble. Fang Jiaojiao also felt something bad. In fact, there is a way to solve the whale's crisis, that is, Fang Jiaojiao also entered the whale's mouth. Wang Feng can only use one arm now, and his arm can still be used. Apocalypse needs to be firmly grasped. Therefore, if Fang Jiaojiao enters the whale's mouth, even if she is not good at fighting, she can just attack Wang Feng at will, and Wang Feng will be unable to fix himself, and will be washed away by the water that the whale continuously sucks in and spits out. But Fang Jiaojiao didn't know Wang Feng's condition now. Although she had seen that Wang Feng was seriously injured before, she was wondering how much of Wang Feng's appearance was just an act. So now, even if she lends Fang Jiaojiao some more courage, she would not dare to come down and save this whale, even if this whale is the most powerful among the marine mutant beasts controlled by Fang Jiaojiao. In Fang Jiaojiao's heart, no matter how good the mutant beast is, it is not as important as her own life. If this whale dies, the worst she can do is find another one. But if she dies, then she really has nothing left, not even revenge. Opportunities are lost forever. What's more, if Fang Jiaojiao is asked to choose between revenge and survival, Fang Jiaojiao will definitely give up revenge without hesitation. So, after Wang Feng had been in a stalemate with the whale for some time, Fang Jiaojiao suddenly made a move that shocked Xiao Wu and others who were watching from a distance. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 526. From the information the whale conveyed to Fang Jiaojiao felt the fear in the whale's heart, which made her have a wrong estimate of Wang Feng's strength. Because she did not have the apocalypse, she could not communicate with the creatures in detail. Although she could use her mental power to control the actions of the mutant beast, she had no way to truly communicate with the mutant beast controlled by herself. Fang Jiaojiao could only roughly sense the emotions of her mutant beast, such as joy, anger, hunger, fear, etc. Therefore, Fang Jiaojiao did not know that the information the whale conveyed to her at this time was that Wang Feng was hanging in its esophagus and refused to come out. If she stopped the current action, it was very likely that Wang Feng would enter its body and cause it some harm, or even fatal trauma. Fang Jiaojiao just felt that the whale was very scared now, so she naturally thought that Wang Feng had now entered the whale's body and might be destroying the whale's internal organs. Thinking of the two great white sharks that died tragically before, Fang Jiaojiao could not help but panic. She is not a combat awakener. Fang Jiaojiao's biggest reliance is her mutant beast. Now, her most powerful and last mutant beast is about to die. At least in her opinion, this is right. Then, after losing this whale, what will happen to her? Fang Jiaojiao felt bad. She knew that if she fell into Wang Feng's hands again this time, Wang Feng would never let her go again. Then this place would not be Wang Feng's burial place, but her own. So, Fang Jiaojiao made a very smart decision: escape. At least in her opinion, the whale has not started to struggle in its death throes yet, which means that Wang Feng should take a while to kill the whale. Now it is still in the sea, belonging to its own territory. If she starts to run away now, Wang Feng will definitely not catch up with her. As for the whale, anyway, it is dead. It can be regarded as making the best use of its last time in its life to help its master delay a little time. Thinking of this, Fang Jiaojiao ran a few steps on the back of the whale without any hesitation, then jumped into the sea, and then immediately dived down, casually caught a relatively large fish, and then let it take her away quickly. Maybe because her ability is to control marine mutants, so when Fang Jiaojiao became an awakener, her body structure also changed a little. A pair of gills grew behind her ears, allowing Fang Jiaojiao to breathe in the water. However, although this pair of gills is very useful to Fang Jiaojiao, even with Fang Jiaojiao's current eyes, she still feels quite disgusting. She even feels that her hair stands up when she touches her gills. Seeing Fang Jiaojiao jump into the sea, Xiao Wu and the others also felt puzzled, because Fang Jiaojiao escaped under the sea, so they did not see it, so in their understanding, Fang Jiaojiao must have gone to the sea to find reinforcements. Because Fang Jiaojiao once said that all the mutant beasts in the sea belonged to her, and being her enemy meant being the enemy of the entire sea. Although it sounded exaggerated, it was now related to Wang Feng's life and death, so Xiao Wu and Xiu Jian did not doubt her words too much. Now it seemed that the whale was constantly swallowing and spitting out sea water to fight against Wang Feng in its body. It seemed that the two sides were evenly matched. Xiao Wu and the others naturally could not let Fang Jiaojiao go to find her reinforcements. Zhang Ruhao in the hurricane also saw this scene, so he immediately drove the hurricane and sank to the bottom of the sea, ready to stop Fang Jiaojiao. Qiu Jian had an oxygen tank, and Xiao Wu and the others were zombies, so no one left the hurricane. However, when they made a circle and bypassed the whale, they found that they had lost the trace of Fa Jiaojiao, and they could not help but panic. They all thought that Fang Jiaojiao must be nearby, and after controlling a few mutant beasts, she would come back to support the whale. How could they know that Fang Jiaojiao had already run far away? In desperation, they could only float to the surface again, hoping that Wang Feng could quickly kill the whale and resolve the crisis. But when they floated to the surface, they found that the whale was no longer spraying water, and it was open-mouthed and motionless. They were surprised and thought that Wang Feng had killed the whale. Wang Feng did not kill the whale, because after Fang Jiaojiao jumped into the sea and escaped, the whale knew that it had been abandoned by its master, because the mental imprint that Fang Jiaojiao used to control it had been cancelled by Fang Jiaojiao herself. Fang Jiaojiao believed that the whale would definitely be killed by Wang Feng, so she naturally did not want to waste her mental power on it. She gave up the position of slavery so that she could control other mutant beasts, and now Fang Jiaojiao was running away. If you leave the mutant beast you enslave too far, you will consume more mental energy, so Fang Jiaojiao cancelled the whale's mental imprint while escaping and returned freedom to the whale. And this mental fluctuation happened to be known by Tiankai. Although he didn't know that Fang Jiaojiao had released the control of the whale, he still tried to communicate with the whale using life fluctuations. The whale had just gained freedom, so it naturally did not want to die. Now that it found that the creature that threatened it in its body actually came to communicate with it, it was of course serious. So, after a while of communication, the whale and Wang Feng reached an agreement. That is, the whale is willing to form an alliance with Wang Feng, on the condition that Wang Feng cannot harm it, and Wang Feng also promised to provide it with the origin of life. On this planet, only Wang Feng, the lucky one with the life core, can convert a large amount of life origin. Other creatures can only rely on the accumulation of time to increase the number of life origins in their bodies little by little. This process is quite slow. Before getting the life core, Wang Feng did not dare to add the life origin to all the evolutionary potions when synthesizing the evolutionary potion. This shows the scarcity of the life origin. Especially for large creatures like whales, the demand for the life origin is almost unlimited. Now Wang Feng has promised not to harm it, and promised not to enslave it too much. There is also the life origin, which is very attractive to whales. Of course, whales will not refuse it. Therefore, less than 10 minutes after Fang Jiaojiao left, the strongest mutant beast that originally belonged to her had become an ally of Wang Feng. It is estimated that if Fang Jiaojiao knew this result, she would definitely not easily release the control over the whale. After reaching an agreement, Wang Feng crawled out along the whale's esophagus, and then cancelled the ice energy that was still frozen in the whale's nostrils, and then crawled along the whale's nostrils, climbed onto its back, and stood where Fang Jiaojiao had stood before. Xiao Wu and others who had been paying attention to the whale, after discovering Wang Feng's figure, hurriedly drove Hurricane to meet him. Although they found that the whale did not seem to be dead, now that Wang Feng had appeared, there must be no danger. Just now, they had been far away from the whale because they were afraid that the whale would make a dying struggle before death. If the tail hit Hurricane, they would probably have to swim all the way to the North Continent. Although Hurricane was an armored vehicle, it was definitely not able to withstand the slap of the whale. Seeing the Hurricane approaching, Wang Feng commanded the whale to sink into the sea through Tiankai. When it floated again, it had already pushed the Hurricane on its back. Because of Wang Feng, the people on the Hurricane did not panic. Afterwards, Wang Feng briefly explained what happened just now to Xiao Wu and the others. When they learned that the whale was now their ally, Xiao Wu and the others looked at Wang Feng with quite strange eyes. They really didn't know how to describe Wang Feng now. When he encountered a large group of mutant beasts in the city where zombies gathered, Wang Feng directly subdued an elephant. What about now? He subdued such a big whale in the sea. If they didn't know Wang Feng well, they would almost think that he was a circus before the end of the world. How come subduing mutant beasts is easier for Wang Feng than chasing girls? Wang Feng didn't care about their gazes. He first climbed to the top of the Hurricane to rest for a while, and asked Apocalypse to synthesize a relatively high concentration of life source. Then he used Apocalypse to casually cut a small hole on the whale's body, poured all the medicine into it, and fulfilled his promise first. Then he climbed up the Hurricane, lay directly on it, looked at the sky, and slowly recovered his body. Of course, at the same time, Apocalypse also guided the direction of the North Continent to the whale, and let it carry everyone and the Hurricane to the direction of the North Continent. Wang Feng must rest for a while, and this time will not be too short. He still has more than 1/3 of his bones that have not been connected. Although his recovery ability is abnormal, fractures are not flesh injuries and will not heal so quickly. It is estimated that it will take at least 2 or 3 days for Wang Feng to fully recover his combat power, but fortunately, now he has this whale, there should be no great danger at sea. The agreement reached between Wang Feng and the whale is that this time when they are outside, as long as they take the sea route, the whale will be their free car until they are sent back to the Hope Base. After that, the whale will settle down in Jiangguan Town and guard the coastal defense of the Hope Base. As a reward, Wang Feng will provide some life essence to the whale every once in a while. This can be regarded as mutual benefit. Anyway, the whale has no fixed home, so it doesn't matter where it stays. As long as there is a life essence, maybe Wang Feng will ask it to move to land, and it will consider it. Now, under the command of Tiankai, the whale is sailing on the sea, sailing towards the North State continent. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 527. Because of the life source as a reward, and the fact that it had just been freed, the whale was obviously in a good mood. It was heading towards the North Continent against the Hurricane. The journey seemed calm because the whale was obviously at the level of the overlord of the ocean. No mutant beast dared to trouble it easily. As for Fang Jiaojiao, it was believed that she would not appear in front of them again for a while. Wang Feng felt that there was still a lot of space in his apocalypse space. When he saw some large mutant beasts preparing to retreat, he let the whale chase them and then kill them. There were many mutant beasts that could compete with whales. This move by Wang Feng and his team obviously shocked the whale. In its view, although some of the mutant beasts killed by Wang Feng and his team were not as good as itself, at least two of them should be equal to itself. And these two mutant beasts, once they were close to Wang Feng and his team, had no chance to escape at all. They were killed directly, and then even their bodies disappeared. Seeing this situation, the whale under Wang Feng and his team also worked harder. At least, Wang Feng and his team could clearly feel that after killing the mutant beast with the same strength as the whale's forward speed suddenly became much faster. So, a week later, Wang Feng and his team arrived at the North Continent. In fact, with this whale, Wang Feng and his team could choose to go directly to the West Continent to find the genetic expert. However, considering that if the genetic expert had bad luck, he might have died long ago. If he could survive until now, it should not be a problem to live for another half a month. So Wang Feng thought that they should go to the North Continent first to see what happened. It was necessary to understand the strength of humans on other continents. After all, the more allies they had to deal with the devourer, the better. Because the whale was so large that it could not rush to the near sea, Wang Feng and his team drove the hurricane into the sea about 2 kilometers away from the coast. Before leaving, Wang Feng asked Tiankai to tell the whale to wait for them at the other end of the North Continent. Then, he gave the whale a potion and left. The whale looked at Wang Feng and his companions reluctantly, and only sank into the sea and turned away when the hurricane disappeared from its sight. During this period, it had obtained a lot of life essence from Wang Feng, and with the last one, it was able to impact the realm of level 7 creatures. If it weren't for Wang Feng, it might take a few years before it could step into this realm, so the whale actually had some dependence on Wang Feng now. Wang Feng didn't care about the departure of the whale, because this whale was not very helpful to them. When they returned to the Hope Base, perhaps the only role of this whale was to help them protect Jianguan Town. The place where Wang Feng and his companions landed was a port city on the North Continent. The name of this city was Moria, a standard name of a North Continent city, which was quite exotic. However, Wang Feng was more concerned about the level of the zombies in the city. There are quite a lot of zombies here, at least more than 50 million, but Wang Feng and his team do not plan to leave here, so there is no need to waste time to clean up here. The level of zombies here is similar to that of the Dongzhou continent where Wang Feng and his team are. Among the 50 million zombies, there are only 2 zombies at the level of zombie generals. For Wang Feng and his team now, as long as they are careful, there will be basically no danger. After spending more than 2 hours to clean up the high-level zombies here, Wang Feng and his team left the city. What surprised Wang Feng was that Moria actually had a life ball placed here, attracting the surrounding zombies. It seems that the devourers are widely distributed on their planet, even in Bizhu, so what about Dongzhou and Nanzhou? Thinking of this, Wang Feng decided that they had better speed up the progress, otherwise the expert would be eaten by the devourer, which would be depressing. But anyway, Bizhu has already come up. Besides, even if they go back now, the whales have already run away. If they rely on hurricanes, it will be faster than on land. Therefore, Wang Feng and his team still follow the original route and head towards the depths of Bizhu continent. The climate of Bizhu continent is colder than that of Dongzhou continent, so almost everyone here is tall and strong, with heavy body hair, and the folk customs are tough, which is not much worse than the Mengta tribe in Dongzhou continent. However, the worst among Wang Feng and his team are awakened now, so the temperature will not affect them. Moreover, the exotic customs here make Wang Feng and his team look very fresh. They look around all the way. Their first target is Dilit City, which is the largest city in Bizhu continent. Because it is not in their own territory, Wang Feng is not going to sweep through the cities one by one like in Dongzhou continent. Saving time is important. The city of Dilit also has an underground fortress, and its defenses are quite complete. It can be said to be the best defended city in the world, even to the point of being world famous. Wang Feng also knew about this city before the end of the world. When he was a special forces soldier, he often used the city as an imaginary enemy for training. Because Dilit is known as the strongest fortress in the world, infiltrating Dilit has basically become a required training for special forces from all over the world. Subjects. The hurricane flew along the route marked on the map. There were zombies gathering in several cities it passed. Wang Feng and the others would stop for a while, attack with all their strength, kill the high-level zombies, and then quickly return to the hurricane. While rushing on the road, while recovering physical strength, it can be regarded as a combination of work and rest. When they were less than 2 days away from Dilit, Wang Feng and the others finally met the first wave of survivors they encountered after arriving on Bizhu continent. It was strange to say that they had been gone for 3 full days. But not a single person was seen. This group of survivors is small, with less than 50 people. They are all in snow-covered military uniforms. They are encircling a city. There are less than 100 million zombies in the city. Bizhu continent has less population than Dongzhou and Dongzhou. There are many in Dongzhou, so although each city is relatively large, the zombies inside are not as dense as those in Dongzhou. Moreover, due to the existence of the life ball, basically when clearing out the zombies on the periphery, the high-level zombies in the center of the zombie tide are ignored at all. The life and death of the low-level zombies seem to have nothing to do with them. From this aspect, Devourer has done a good thing. At least the survivors now have much less worries about zombies. As long as they stay away from cities where zombies gather, they basically won't encounter too many zombies. Massive swarm of corpses. This group of survivors is only clearing out the zombies on the periphery and does not actively provoke the high-level zombies in the middle. Therefore, their battle is relatively easy and safe. When they saw Wang Feng's hurricane, the group of people seemed to be very vigilant. They slowly retreated to the back, broke away from the battle, and then dispersed, waiting for Wang Feng's arrival. Seeing this scene, Wang Feng secretly sighed in his heart. These strong bear-like guys deserved to be called a fighting nation, and they were always in a state of war readiness. In order to avoid misunderstanding, Wang Feng asked Zhang Ru how to stop almost 100 meters away from those people. Then Wang Feng jumped out of the hurricane alone and walked towards these people. Seeing Wang Feng approaching alone without any weapons, these people still did not relax their vigilance. A middle-aged man with a beard and a knitted hat on his head put the submachine gun in his hand on his shoulder. Came over. Young people, are you coming from the Dongzhou continent? A middle-aged man's rough voice rang out from far away. That's right, Wang Feng turned around and looked at the hurricane, and understood why this guy asked like this. The hurricane was independently developed by the country where Wang Feng was located, and it had never been sold abroad at all. Now they are driving the hurricane, it's like writing on their faces which country they are from. How is the situation in Dongzhou continent now? Why are you interested in coming here again? The sea route is quite difficult now, isn't it? The middle-aged man said loudly. At this time, he had already approached Wang Feng, so he stretched out his hand. Shook hands with Wang Feng. Inovik. Wang Feng looked at Inovik, then at the strong men behind him, and found that there were more than 10 awakened people among them. It seemed that the fighting nation really lived up to its reputation. There seemed to be very few people here. I landed from Moria City. Along the way, you are the first wave of the same kind I saw. I saw a lot of zombies at that time, Wang Feng started seemingly casually. Inquire for information. Ha 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 ha. Basically all the people who are still alive in Bizhu continent are in Dilit city. Of course you won't see people in other places. Inovik did not hide it, and laughed loudly. In this hellish world, there is no way for a person to survive. So, from the very beginning, Dirit started to send out broadcasts, asking everyone who could hear them to go over there. Finally the beginning was also in the city of Hato in the northernmost Chile province. Didn't he also bring the people there to Dirit? You all came from Dilit, Wang Feng was shocked. It would take almost 2 days to get from here to Dilit, even with a hurricane. These guys actually ran so far, which means Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 528. Wang Feng looked at Innovik and was a little shocked. They were all killing low-level zombies on the periphery, and it seemed that they had no intention of fighting the high-level zombies in the middle. This meant that they were only here to collect zombie corpses. After all, it was so long after the end of the world, and they couldn't be unaware of the use of zombie corpses for crops. Since they were able to run so far, it meant that all the zombies around Dilit had been cleared out. This really shocked Wang Feng. Even the Hope base was not able to clear out all the zombies in such a large area around it. Did you run far enough? In order to confirm his thoughts, Wang Feng spoke again. No way, Innovik shook his head helplessly and said, this is the nearest place with zombies. Those closer have been cleared out by zombie hunters. Fortunately, those ogres have disappeared for some reason during this period. Otherwise, I would not dare to run so far even if I die. Even if I sell my ass, it is better than joining this damned corpse hunting team, Innovik cursed fiercely at the end. The ogres you are talking about, are they the kind that can suck people into a very old state with their palms, and? Wang Feng asked tentatively. Stop. Damn it. Don't describe this thing in front of me. I have finally forgotten it. Before Wang Feng finished speaking, Innovik waved his arms and shouted loudly. You are right, it is that kind of damned monster, demon, scum. Then, a series of curses kept coming out of Innovik's mouth. Hi. Buddy, a fair-skinned blonde young man came over and greeted Wang Feng in a friendly manner. Then he looked at Innovik, who was still cursing, shrugged his shoulders, spread his hands and said to Wang Feng. Don't mind it, he is not targeting you. You know, this poor guy, his wife, and children. Ivan. Shut up, Innovik roared, his fists clenched, his eyes wide open. Wang Feng sighed in his heart. Although Ivan did not finish his words, Wang Feng had guessed what he would say next. Looking at Innovik, Wang Feng sighed softly and said, sorry. It doesn't matter, Innovik kept staring at Ivan. After a long time, he suddenly became like a deflated ball, wilted, and said softly, it's over. Do you have ogres in the East Continent? Are there many? Innovik suddenly looked at Wang Feng and asked, as if he wanted to find some other topics for himself. Not a small number, Wang Feng nodded and said, thousands. You are lucky to be alive. Innovik patted Wang Feng on the shoulder and said, it seems that because of the mention of the Devourer, the distance between Innovik and Wang Feng was shortened. Although they were not from the same country or the same race, they were all human beings and spoke the same language, which made Innovik put down his previous vigilance. Delight City has not been occupied by those Devourers, ogres, Wang Feng asked the question he was more concerned about. According to Innovik, the people of the entire North Continent, no matter which country the survivors were from, were concentrated in Dilit. This lifestyle should be considered very good during the period when zombies were rampant. But when the Devourer came, they should not be so lucky. The Devourer would never let go of such a big piece of fat meat, and because of the concentration, it seemed that the Devourer could easily catch all the humans in the entire North Continent. Of course not, Innovik waved his arms again, those sons of bitches really took advantage of us at the beginning. They seemed to be invincible. Even tanks and heavy artillery could not do anything to them. Fortunately, Gulai accidentally found a way to deal with them and killed many of them. That's why they dared not go to us again. Now, there is no trace of these guys on the North Continent. Did they use fire abilities? Wang Feng asked. Huh? It seems that you also know this method, Inovik was stunned, then nodded, and said, "Since you also know this method, it seems that you people in the East continent should be doing well. Gulai is a super evolver of the fire system. Because we used firearms and other hot weapons to fight those bastards before, but the effect was quite poor. Later, one time, Gulai had a sudden idea. At the moment when the bullet flew out of the barrel, he attached his superpowers to the bullet. As a result, he actually killed an ogre directly. Seeing this situation, everyone used this method, but in the end, only the fire system it can be done, and it may not be successful, but at least we killed dozens of ogres, which made them retreat. They just watched us from a distance and dared not attack again. About 10 days ago, we suddenly found that the ogres disappeared inexplicably. At first we thought it was a trick of the ogres to lure us out, so no one dared to come out. Later, all the food was consumed. If we waited any longer, we would all starve to death. Then a few brave people reorganized the corpse hunting team and went outside to search. Only then did they confirm that the ogres had indeed disappeared. Hearing this, Wang Feng completely understood, and couldn't help but sigh inwardly at the devourer's back. Obviously, he was very unlucky, and he just happened to be hit by the bullet with firepower in the core of his consciousness. Only then would he be shot to death. If he had not died at that time, maybe Guile would not have experimented again. In that case, perhaps when Wang Feng sets foot on the Bizhu continent, there will be no humans left on the Bizhu road. You're right. They have indeed disappeared, because their headquarters is in Dongzhou continent, and we destroyed it. We also killed one of the two supreme commanders, so the remaining one will shrink your troops and don't dare to show up again. Wang Feng looked at Inovik and said, "We came here to see if those guys are hiding here. Moreover, I have something I want to talk to your supreme commander here. You said, you took away the ogre's lair." After hearing Wang Feng's words, Inovik looked at Wang Feng in disbelief, and then laughed. "Little brother, I also hope to remove the lair of those ogres and kick their butts hard for 10 days and a half. I will not be tired of this kind of thing. It's okay to say it, but don't make it so serious, make it look like the real thing." Wang Feng shook his head helplessly, but it was hard to explain to Inovik now. They probably didn't know that the core of the Devourer's consciousness could be moved at will. The Devourers they killed probably happened by chance. Only when the bullets hit the core of his consciousness would he die unluckily. Therefore, in their hearts, the Devourer is still an invincible existence. Regarding Wang Feng's words, they obviously regarded Wang Feng's boasting. However, Wang Feng did not explain again. He looked directly at Inovik and asked, "Can you take me to your Dilit? I want to meet your leader." "It's okay to take you to Dirit, but to meet our leader, I can't make the decision." Inovik hesitated and said, "We are just members of the corpse hunting team. We are free people. We are similar to ordinary citizens before the end of the world. We are not official members of Dilit City. Even if we want to see the leader, it is difficult unless if you are willing to give up your status as a free man and join Dirit's escort, you may still be able to meet the leader. You, the awakened person, can't become a formal member of Dilit." Wang Feng was shocked. Then what is the level of the strongest person there? This has nothing to do with strength. The members of Dirit's escort team are all like me. You are called awakeners, right? We use super evolved to call people with my strength. Inovik began to tell Wang Feng about Dilit, and the other members of the zombie hunting team began to collect the corpses of the zombies they had killed before and move them to the large truck they drove. Dilit is now divided into an inner city and an outer city. Those in the inner city agree to join Dilit City and need to obey orders completely, while those living in the outer city are like us, who are used to being unorganized and don't like to be surrounded by others. Restrained guy. People in the inner city will have a regular job, maybe decomposing zombies, maybe farming, maybe construction workers. Oh, hell, there's even a dentist in there. Having said this, Innovik used his thick fingers to reach into his mouth, licked the innermost tooth that was already somewhat loose, and then continued. They all have a fixed salary and basically have nothing to worry about. Of course, the premise is that they must accept the tasks assigned by their superiors and complete them accurately. As for us people, they don't have any restrictions at all. We can do whatever we want. Of course, if we want to eat or play with women, we have to exchange things, various supplies, materials, or mutant beasts, and this. Innovik pointed at the people who were carrying zombie corpses and said, and it is relatively easy to do this, so there are zombie hunting teams like us. These can be exchanged for in the exchange in the inner city. Take the alliance coins and spend them as you like. As long as you have money, you can go to the inner city, and no one will care about you as long as you don't cause trouble. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 529. Alliance currency? Is it money? Wang Feng asked. That's right. It's money, Innovik said, then he took out a shiny coin from his pocket, tossed it in the air, then handed it to Wang Feng and said. That's it? With just one coin like this, you can spend a night with wine and women in the inner city, and even have clean sheets and hot water. However, such a coin will cost at least 100 zombies. The body can be replaced. This is because of the appearance of those ogres. The price of zombies has increased a lot. If those demons had not appeared before, at least 200 zombie corpses would have been needed to exchange for such a gadget. Wang Feng took the alliance coin and found that one side was the pattern of the planet he was on, with a number engraved on it, 100, and the other side was a hand holding a dagger with several numbers engraved on it. A lingua franca, Avengers. Haha, seeing Wang Feng's unnatural expression, Innovik whistled first, and then laughed. That's a pretty good name, right? The Avengers, that's the name they gave themselves, but it's pretty much the same. Nowadays, everyone seems to have become a Superman, well. Except they can't fly. It's really impressive. Wang Feng returned the coin to Innovik. Take it. Aren't you going to deal it? You can't enter the inner city without money. There is a curfew there at night and no one is allowed to appear on the street, huh? But if your car drives in, if you do, you might be able to sell it for a good price, at least enough for you to stay in the inner city for several years. Innovik did not take the coin. Instead, he looked at the hurricane behind Wang Feng and said. But if you don't plan to sell it, then it's best not to drive it into Dillet. You have to know that the world today may not be as beautiful as you think. Thank you, Wang Feng looked at Innovik and smiled. From Innovik's words, Wang Feng felt that this Innovik was actually a very good person. Although he talked a bit too much, he was still a good person. Very enthusiastic person. But I don't think I need to sell my car, and I don't need to use your coin. Didn't you say that this thing can be exchanged for the corpses of zombies? I think there seems to be no shortage of zombies here, right? Innovik was stunned for a moment, but he still reached out and took the coin, and then carefully stuffed it into his pocket. After confirming that it would not fall out due to his excessive movements, he looked towards Wang Feng. You're right. The most ugly guys here are now, huh? Maybe I'm going too far when I say that about them, but they look really disgusting. However, it seems a bit wasteful to use your car to carry zombies, doesn't it? Innovik looked at the hurricane again, because Wang Feng and the others only drove this kind of hurricane. Of course he would think that Wang Feng and the others would use the hurricane to hold the corpses, and considering the size of the hurricane, it is estimated that 100 corpses would be about the same. I guess if it's a high-level zombie, maybe the price will be a little more expensive, right? Wang Feng said, pointing to the center of the city. Oh God. You don't want to go to the center of the city to attack those high-level zombies, do you? Hearing Wang Feng's words, Inuvik was shocked, and then turned to look at the corpses in the city. Sighed, and said, "We have looked carefully when we came here. There are at least 4 level 9 zombies. It is not easy to kill them. Even if you have this car, it is probably impossible. There are zombies above level 5. Firearms basically don't have much effect. And the most important thing is that if you want to kill high-level zombies in the middle, you have to clear out the zombies on the outside first. It's a bit troublesome and a waste of time. I think you can kill those cars on the edge of the city. After collecting them, we might be able to get a few that are drivable, and if we pump out the fuel from the other cars, we can barely drive them to Dillet. This should be more practical." Wang Feng knew that the 9th level zombies mentioned by Inuvik were corpse generals. It seemed that people in Bazhu continent directly divided zombies according to levels of 1, 2, and 3. It was relatively simple. Wang Feng secretly calculated in his heart. After a while, I found that starting from ordinary zombies, the zombie general was indeed at level 9. However, in response to Inuvik's words, Wang Feng just smiled gently and did not answer. He just waved his hand. Qiu Jian and Xiao Wu on the Hurricane all jumped out of the car and ran towards Wang Feng. Zhang Ruhao was still the driver, so he didn't get out of the car. Therefore, the only people who came to Wang Feng's side were Qiu Jian, Xiao Wu, Qiao, and Qin Xuan. Counting Wang Feng, there were only 6 people. However, along the way, every time the zombies in the city were cleared, the 6 of them took action. Now, except for number 7, they have all reached the peak of level 6, and Xiao and Qingxun have come from behind and succeeded. The breakthrough reached level 7. This phenomenon further verified the fact that the seal in their bodies really existed, making Wang Feng and Qiu Jian even more eager to unlock the damn seal in their bodies. Wang Feng was determined to show off his strength in front of Inuvik and others. Now is the end of the world. There is no need to hide his strength and pretend to be a pig to eat the tiger. He can only really turn himself into a pig. Zhang Ruhao did not let Zhang Ruhao drive the Hurricane over. One was because he was worried that Inuvik and the others would become suspicious. The other was that Wang Feng was not at ease and had sinister people. Although Inuvik's performance was not bad, who knew who was in his team? What do other people think? When Xiao Wu and others came to Wang Feng, Inuvik couldn't help but be surprised when they saw the images of Xiao Wu and Qin Xuan. Needless to say, Xiao Wu's whole body was blood red. Although he was wearing military uniform, after all, his face was still exposed. As for Qin Xuan and his wife, although they are not as scary as Xiao, their faces are pale and they definitely don't look like normal people. This is because Wang Feng gave them some life cores before, so that they at least have nothing on them. There were obvious carrion and wounds, otherwise, I'm afraid this Inuvik would take action directly. Don't worry. They are all human beings, but their powers are a bit weird. Wang Feng explained to Inuvik, and then he turned to look at the zombies in the center of the city and only said, "Old rules, fight quickly." Before he finished speaking, Wang Feng rushed towards the center of the city. Naturally, Xiao Wu and the others were not to be left behind. They followed Wang Feng and rushed forward. The 6 of them, like 6 sharp arrows, shot straight towards the center of the city. The gathering of high-level zombies rushed past. God! Are they mad? The yellow-haired young man Ivan never left, but he didn't speak anymore. At this time, when he saw Wang Feng's actions, he couldn't help but exclaimed. This world is already crazy. There are more crazy people. It's not worth making a fuss about. Maybe it's a good thing. Looking at the backs of the 6 people, Inuvik said softly, with a strange light shining in his eyes. Judging from the conversation with Wang Feng just now and the expression on Wang Feng's words just now, Inuvik does not think that Wang Feng is the kind of fool who acts recklessly. Since Wang Feng dares to do this, it means that Wang Feng should be there is a lot of confidence. Especially what Wang Feng said before rushing out, old rules. What are the old rules? The old rules show that this guy who calls himself Wang Feng and the people behind him should not do this kind of thing for the first time. Just watch quietly. Maybe we can see a miracle today. Inovic's tone was a little excited, and when he looked at Wang Feng and the others, there was also some expectation. The actions of Wang Feng and others also alarmed the other members of Inovic's team. They also stopped what they were doing and looked at Wang Feng and others who had rushed into the group of corpses. They were surprised to find that after Wang Feng and the others rushed into the group of corpses, they did not gather together to form a formation and slowly advance forward. Instead, they fought separately and were scattered. Moreover, they didn't seem to want to kill all the zombies in front of them. They just killed the zombies that rushed towards them, and then continued to kill towards the center of the zombie group at the fastest speed. "Oh my God! These people are so strong," shouted a young man in his 20s. Now in front of Wang Feng and the others, mutated zombie kings and even alienated zombies have appeared, but they still can't stop them. Not a single zombie, able to survive a round in front of Wang Feng and the other 6. One at a time. This is the speed at which Wang Feng and the others are killing zombies now. Even the alienated zombie king has the same ending. The 6 of them are like 6 dragons entering the sea, splitting 6 passages in the zombie tide, and constantly rushing forward. Their movements soon alerted the 4 corpse generals in the middle. In fact, they were also the main targets of Wang Feng and the others, especially Xiao Wu and the others. Although they had reached level 7, the corpse generals had also become less interested in improving their strength. Only a little bit, but no matter how small the fly is, it is still meat. The most important thing is that there are no more advanced zombies at present, so it can be said that Xiao Wu and the others do not have the right to be picky about food at all now, and eating some is good. Half an hour later, when Wang Feng signaled to close the team and the 6 people fought out of the zombies again, the high-level zombies in the middle were already dead and injured. Now in the city, the mutated corpse king is already the most advanced zombie. "Oh my God! Who can tell me, am I dreaming now?" Ivan murmured as he stared at Wang Feng and the others in shock. Inovic next to him had a similar expression to his at this time. Although he had long known that people like Wang Feng should be very powerful, but now he realized that he was wrong. They were not powerful. What the hell? What a bunch of perverts. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 530. When Wang Feng and the others came back, Inovic looked at them and shook his head and said, "Feng, you are really a group of perverted guys. It seems that the magic of Eastern people is the same even in this damn apocalypse. Didn't it disappear? I'm very surprised. Where did you take the corpses of those zombies?" Ivan also looked at Wang Feng and the others and asked in surprise. When Wang Feng put away all the zombies they killed, there was no covered up on purpose, so they all saw it too. "My superpower is this weapon, it has its own space." Wang Feng summoned Apocalypse, waved it at them, and then put it away. What a magical weapon! The mysterious Easterners are indeed not simple, Inovic praised. However, you are also very powerful. At least, we will never dare to rush in directly like you. I think our harvest this time will be great. At this time, a fat guy who was collecting zombie corpses came over and said, "Since this gentleman has killed all those high-level zombies, maybe we can knock down the entire city. In that case, we can get a lot of alliance coins, which can allow us to spend at least a year in the inner city." This guy came to Wang Feng, stretched out his hand and said, "Hello. Mysterious Easterner, I am Christopher, you can call me Chris." Wang Feng stretched out his hand and shook hands with Christopher. "Hello. Chris. I am Wang Feng." What a great idea, Inovic's eyes lit up, and then he looked at Wang Feng and said, "Feng. Can we help you clean up the zombies in the city? No, Wang Feng shook his head and said, I don't have much time to stay here, so I probably won't come to the city again. You can decide what you want to do without asking me. Originally, when Wang Feng just said no, these guys were a little sad, but after Wang Feng finished speaking, they became really happy. Feng, you are really a very generous person. Inovik was overjoyed and rushed up to give Wang Feng a bear hug. In return, I will take you to Dilit, but still, in short, you have to figure out who you want to meet, and the best I can do is introduce them to you. Thank you. Inovik. I just need this, Wang Feng said, although he can also find the way to Dilit by himself, but it is of course more convenient to have someone here to take him. Okay. Let's set off right away, Inovik said excitedly, then turned to Ivan and said, Ivan, you stay here and lead everyone to clean up the zombies first. Chris and I will send the wind back to Dirit. Call some more people over by the way. No problem. But you have to make an agreement with those greedy guys first. This city belongs to us, and we will share 70% of what they get here. Ivan nodded in agreement. Don't worry. I know this even if you don't tell me. Inovik patted Ivan on the shoulder, and then said to Christopher, let's go. Let's take a ride back. Okay, Christopher nodded, and then said to Wang Feng, Magical Feng, let's go. Wang Feng turned around and waved, and Zhang Ruhao drove the Hurricane to their side. After everyone got in the car, the Hurricane drove towards Dilit city. Along the way, Inovik and the others asked Wang Feng a lot of questions, most of which were about the eastern continent. However, Wang Feng's knowledge of his own side was limited to the Hope Base and its surroundings. When he heard Inovik, his eyes couldn't help but shine when he learned about the situation at the Hope Base. Even Christopher expressed a strong interest in the Hope Base. Since they were moving at full speed, there was no delay at all on the way, so after a day and a half, the city of Dirit was already in their sights. This is a huge city. Although Wang Feng had seen photos of Dilit city before the end of the world, the entire Dilit city has now expanded several times. The original city of Dilit was surrounded by a tall wall. This is the current inner city of Dilit. Only those who are willing to accept the management of the Avengers are qualified to live in it. Of course, if you have money, you can also go inside to spend money, but you can only stay in the hotel. Houses in the inner city are not for sale to the outside world. Outside the inner city is the outer city. Of course, the outer city is also surrounded by city walls, but compared to the inner city walls, they are much simpler. Most of them are piled up from car wrecks, tires and other items, although they are not that big. It's strong, but at least it can give people some psychological comfort. Feng, are you going to drive this big guy into Dilit? When he saw the Hurricane heading towards Dilit, Inovik couldn't help but remind Wang Feng. You have to know that this big guy can be considered a pretty good thing in this apocalyptic world. Although I admit that you are very strong, but I still don't recommend that you drive it in. You Orientals have a saying, it's called, not revealing one's wealth, or it's a crime to have a jade in your possession. Wang Feng also seriously considered Inovika's suggestion, but looking at the surrounding areas of Dilit, there were plains, and there was no place to hide the Hurricane. Moreover, if the Hurricane was left outside, it must be kept the servants come to guard. They originally had only a few people, so they would be even more scattered. In addition, their instant communication could only be maintained within 5 kilometers, so after thinking again and again, Wang Feng decided to drive the Hurricane. Although he knew that Inovik was kind-hearted and his worries were not unreasonable, Wang Feng felt that as long as he showed his strength, there should not be too many problems. Inovik, thank you for your reminder, but our time is very precious now, so we can't waste time hiding it. Just go directly. Maybe, with this big guy, we can see your leader faster. Wang Feng smiled at Inovik and said. Okay. You are a stubborn guy? Feng. But maybe you are right. With this big guy, maybe you can really see the person you want to see quickly, but I want to make it clear that it is the leader of the Avengers, not ours. Inovik shook his head helplessly and said, and at the end, he muttered a few words in a low voice, as if to distinguish himself from the Avengers. When the hurricane reached the gate of the outer city, several guards with submachine guns on the wall waved to Inovik and Christopher, who were sitting on top of the hurricane, and then opened the gate. Inovik. You are lucky. Where did you get such a big guy? It looks very powerful among the guards, a sturdy man with a bow and arrow shouted at them. Where are these people from? They look like they are from the East Continent. Did they sneak in? Shut up. Kavya. These people are my friends. I tell you not to attack them. They are not easy to mess with. Inovik waved his arms and shouted loudly. You know what? I saw it with my own eyes. 4 level 9 zombies and a bunch of level 7 or 8 high-level zombies were no different from naked girls in front of them. They were solved in a few minutes. Your metaphor is really not very good, Inovik. Wang Feng patted Inovik's shoulder and complained. It doesn't matter, I think he can understand what I mean. Inovik shrugged his shoulders nonchalantly, and then shouted to Kavya. They want to see your leader, Kavya. I think maybe you can help a little. In return, I can let you and your brother go with me to Lux City. The high-level zombies there have been killed by these Orientals, only a few cubs are left. This is an opportunity to make a fortune. Lux City is the city where Wang Feng and his team showed their skills before. It is also a relatively famous big city in the North Continent. However, at the beginning of the end of the world, it was abandoned because it was far away from Dilit. You mean, just these few people? Killed all the high-level zombies in Lux City? Kavya looked at Wang Feng and his team with some suspicion and asked. Of course. When did I, Inovik, tell a lie? Inovik blushed and shouted, it's just the 6 of them, there is absolutely no one else. 94 level 9 zombies, in front of them, they didn't even last 2 minutes and were finished. Now standing on the roof are still the 6 people who just took action. Long before going out to sea, Wang Feng found a pair of contact lenses for number 7 to wear, so that his eyes look almost like normal people. He didn't want people to know the identity of number 7. After all, the Devourer would definitely not be welcomed by humans on this planet, so this might avoid a lot of trouble. Kavya hesitated for a moment. Although he didn't believe that Wang Feng and his team could kill all the high-level zombies in Lux City with just 6 people, what Inovik said was not wrong. This bearded man never lies, and the truthfulness of his words is still relatively reliable. You want to see the leader? What's the matter? Kavya looked at Wang Feng and asked. Although he was on duty in the outer city, he belonged to the Avengers Guard team and could be considered an official member, so Inovik told him that Wang Feng wanted to see the leader. Of course, it's a more important matter, about the Devourer, that is, what you call the ogre. Wang Feng looked at Kavya and said calmly.